Everybody, my name's Ed. New comics today. Um, I'm gonna try not to make this video too long. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about, and plus I'm actually not feeling well. Just changes in the weather. But I've got my Robitussin, and I got some Theraflu, and I got some soup that's warming up that I'll eat after I shoot this video. Um, First thing is kind of serious. A friend of mine passed away that I know from the internet, Phil Marzi. I basically met him on a particular website. Well, you know what? I'll just say it. On a website called Inveterate Media Junkies, which also incidentally is where I know Matt Agent 42 from. But Phil and I got to be friends outside of that particular website. I did a couple of videos with him a few years back that he put up on his YouTube channel. And Phil was a very interesting guy. He was always warm. He was always compassionate. Very intelligent person. I used to love talking to him. We would talk for like hours about, whatever, just things going on in the world, or geek stuff, or comic stuff, or pop culture stuff, or whatever. And some stuff we saw eye to eye on. A lot of stuff we would be 180 degrees from each other on. But Phil used to always say, it's fine. It's good to be. We can disagree without being disagreeable. So he's always, like I said, he was always a gentleman about everything. It's ironic because recently I just got on Facebook, and for like the last 2.5 years or so, he was always saying, "Hey, so you're gonna do something besides YouTube? You gotta get on Facebook, get on Twitter, something like that." And I was always like, "Yeah, I don't know, maybe not, I don't know." And like I said, last week I finally did get on. But yeah, like I was saying, it was kind of ironic when I finally did get on Facebook. The first thing I heard, or one of the first things I heard, was that Phil had passed away. So it'll be somebody I kind of miss from here on the internet and stuff. Okay, so from a Phil that I did know to a Phil I don't know personally, some weird stuff going on with Phil Anselmo from Pantera recently. Uh, Basically, he made an offensive gesture, and first he said it was a joke, then he apologized for it, then the guitar player from Machine Head came out, made a video kind of calling him out for it, and kind of taking a task people who kind of dismissed it and stuff like that. I basically just bring it up because people who watch my videos probably notice a lot of times I have music playing in the background, and a few times it's been Pantera, and it's kind of like bleeded through and stuff like that. I actually saw Pantera perform like back in the uh, early mid '90s or whatever. Yeah, I've got a Down CD around here somewhere. I haven't really caught up or kept up with the band or anything, but but I don't know. It's just one of those things where you kind of got to shake your head about the whole thing. Um, on the one hand, sure, I think everybody, whether you're black, white, male, female, straight, gay, whatever, should be proud of who they are and should be able to say so. On the other hand, when you go around zig heiling in public, you got to realize not everybody's cool with that. So, that's basically my comment with that. Okay, so here's some of the comics I got last week. Uh, so we'll just jump into it. Poison Ivy #1. I liked it. I liked the writing on here. The art was okay. Basically, it's the setup for Ivy's. I guess this is going to be a mini series, and she, is doing her scientist thing. She's taking some plants back home, and she actually gets a job in a horticultural lab or something like that. And there's a mystery and everything. Let's see here, poison or not poison, but Harley Quinn actually makes a guest appearance, where that was kind of cool. I thought the art was okay. I thought it was decent. I didn't think it was great, but it was all right. I kind of wish the art had maybe just a little bit more character to it, I guess. But this was a very interesting story, and I'm glad I picked it up. So I'm on board for this miniseries. I got Cyborg number 7. This was another story that had some really interesting writing. Basically, it has to do with Cyborg's mom, who has died, but it looks like she may be coming back as a ghost or something. And in the meantime, we have this thing with the government wants to start registering and keeping tabs on people who have advanced cybernetic powers. So on one hand, we see the government and military guys start rounding people up. There's a little bit with Cyborg's dad in here. And then the other part of the story is Cyborg communicating with his mom. Like I said, I really like the more human interest part of the story. I really like the fact that they're really going into Cyborg's personal life and building up a supporting cast for him. I like the fact that there's the stuff with his dad. You don't always have superhero characters who normally interact with their parents. So I like that. Like I said, I thought the stuff with his mom is kind of touching. They don't really explain yet how she's back or whatever. But yeah, I find it very interesting. The only thing about the art is I felt the art was thought it was kind of bland. It wasn't bad, but it just seemed kind of generic. It just seemed like generic superhero art. It just didn't really stand out for me. And it was kind of a step down after we were having like Ivan Reis and people like that. So there's that. Faith number 1. I was really intrigued by this comic. I'm glad I picked it up. Basically, we find we pick. I mean, we basically join this young woman, and she's moved to a new town, and she's kind of setting herself up to be a superhero. She's got a new job. She's got her friends. And she's, looking for crimes to investigate and things like that. And obviously, you can see she's kind of a plus-size woman, and it's not something you always see in a superhero comic. Usually, the characters have to look like supermodels, or if they're bad guys, maybe they look particularly monstrous or scary or whatever. And you rarely see, like I said, big women portrayed as the heroes. Sometimes you might see them as the sidekick or the best friend or whatever, especially like if it was like a movie or sitcom or whatever. But rarely do you have it. You have it done as, like I said, as a plus size woman is the star. And one thing they didn't do here, which I'm actually kind of glad, is they didn't kind of make her the butt of the jokes. It wasn't lots of fat jokes or anything like that. She's a capable superhero, just like anybody else in this particular universe. And it's pretty interesting. Well, basically, you get to see her solve. They actually show her using her various superpowers, and like I said, she does solve a minor crime, but there's these hints of this bigger mystery that's going to be coming up with these, I don't know, conspiracies and other people who have powers and things like that. So it's an interesting read. Valiant has actually been doing some really interesting things when it comes to diversity. Here you get diversity of body shape as opposed to just diversity of race or ethnicity, which they've also done. They used to do Shadow Man. They've got Dr. Mirage right now. I think Divinity might be coming back pretty soon. So very interesting, very interesting. A lot of times when you talk about diversity in mainstream comics, we're usually focused on Marvel and DC and whether or not they have an ethnic character in the Justice League or the Avengers or whatever, which I think is important, but I also think it's important to kind of like, think outside the box a little bit and kind of get stuff that's, maybe off the beaten track a little bit. So, okay. Avengers 4, more coming together of the team. They basically go to help out. Oh, Jarvis, this is Jarvis coming back. But they basically go to help out with a tornado, and we find out that the tornado is being caused by a minor supervillain who's been paid to stir up trouble. And basically it's kind of light. They take care of the problem, but of course there's a bigger mystery brewing. And this scene sort of happens, you know. I mean, Falcon and Jane Foster Thor do kiss, but it's not a. Well, you know what? I won't give it away. It just ends on an interesting note. So anyway, solid comic book, lots of fun. I really like Masood Assur's art, so that's a good one. Twilight Children, number 4. This is the conclusion of the story. Pretty decent. There's a resolution, even though there's not maybe actually an explanation, and I'm fine with that. It's just that I do kind of wish there was another issue. I actually wanted to maybe read a little bit more about the various lives of the townspeople and things like that. So, not a bad issue at all. Not a bad story. But like I said, I wish we got a little bit more in depth with the various people. The young couple, the wife who wants to go away, the one guy, the sheriff. You've got the scientist guy from the States. And I think it probably would have been a little bit more moving if we had just spent a little bit more time with them. So, Dreaming Eagles number 2. Really interesting. Basically, it's a story about black fighter pilots during World War II. I think the stuff with the airplanes and everything looks really great. Obviously, the artist is using lots of photo references and things like that. He's maybe not that great at doing facial expressions and things. But it's a very interesting story. You kind of get to learn a little bit more about history. You get to see this guy telling the story to his son, who I think is supposed to be in his late teens or early 20s. Describing how it was for him back in the 40s. On one hand, being part of a segregated army, and on the other hand, wanting to fight, but a lot of times they were denied even that. While at the other time, on the other hand, trying to still figure out ways to prove that they were just as good as the other soldiers. So yeah. Let's see. Also got Last Gang in Town, number 2. From Vertigo. This kind of cracks me up. It just feels like, I don't know, it just feels like maybe an old school underground comic. You've got a lot of over-the-top artwork, cartoony zaniness, lots of rude humor, lots of little jokes in the background. You can see here, there's writing in the borders and in the gutters and things like that. Lots of little in-jokes. And it's just crazy and zany and over-the-top. The whole setting is, most of it, some of it takes place in the present, but some of the most interesting stuff is flashbacks to 70s, late 70s England and the whole punk rock scene there and how it blew up. And we get our main characters who are on one hand trying to be in a band, and then on the other hand are trying to be bank robbers or something. So, yeah, like I said, it's just crazy and lots of. It's just nutty. I just get a good kick out of it. I guess that's all I can say. Also got, looking at the time there. Also got Black Magic #4. Well written, very nice art by Nicholas Scott. Just can't go wrong. So yeah, Monstrous #4. No, #3. I'm sorry. Starfire #8. I keep telling myself I'm going to drop this comic, but I keep picking it up because they keep putting little things in here that appeal to me on whatever level. Like, sorry, excuse me. Um, you know, Dick Grayson, and I grew up with that, 80s version of the Teen Titans when Starfire and Dick were like a couple, so I had to get this one. So yeah, it was fun. Like I said, it kind of pulled my nostalgia strings. I also got Spider Woman #3, which is just goofy fun with pregnant Spider Woman fighting Skrulls and aliens. Okay. Now, other comics I got this week that I haven't gotten to read yet. I got Midnighter 9, Paper Girls #5, Captain Marvel #2, Sam Wilson Captain America #6, Velvet #13. I think this comic doesn't get talked about a lot, but I think it's a really great kind of spy espionage thriller type thing. So, Doctor Strange #5, Scarlet Witch #3, and also Mystery Girl #3. Okay, and that's it. That's all I got. I'm going to take some medicine, then I'm going to eat some soup, and then I'm just going to lay down for a while, and hopefully I can sweat this cold out. And that's it. I got to thank you very much for listening, and everybody have a great day.